Morning.
Morning. Daniel. Okay, today we're going to start on Daf Lamed, and it's Lamed Amud Aleph, but it's a little over halfway down the page. Gomru Esadavar, the line starts plainly. Thank you. I think Hashem, I'm very much learning Torah every day. It's learning Hashem to be some English. Learning the Nishma, some called the Baspar Yom, and some Sian. For Shleima, I guess I think it's Torah, parents, for Chaim, for Jimmy, Chaim, and Sarah. I haven't seen the professor recently. Let's see him on Shabbos. Usually I see him on Shabbos. Huh? Okay. So in the Mishnah, we were learning about the witnesses saying their testimony, and then the way they would examine the witnesses. One would step out, and they would ask them questions to see if it was without the other one there, and then they would check the other one to see if the testimonies matched. Then they would call them back in, and they would give the verdict. Now, when it says they would call them back in, who's the them? So assume it's the witnesses. Now, the Gemara is going to make an assumption here that when they call them back in, they would say their testimony again. They have to say the testimony in front of each other. So let's take a look at this. Gemara Sadavari Machnisin. After they finish this matter, the Naisim, after they finish their discussion, then they would bring them back in. Alaman, who's the them that they would bring back in? If they brought in the litigants, Hasam Kaimi. What do you mean? The litigants were there the whole time. It's a little bit of a problem, because if the litigants are there the whole time, we said that you weren't supposed to walk outside after the court case and say, I would have, my opinion was that you were innocent, but what should I do? My friends were the majority. But if the litigants are there the whole time during the discussion, then the litigants themselves should have known who wanted to say what. So what would be the problem with telling them afterwards that, I'm sorry, I wanted to do, maybe even if they knew, you're still not supposed to rub it in. Or maybe you're still not supposed to say that. Lloyd Larush. Or maybe even if they're there, it doesn't mean they heard the discussion. That could be oh yeah, they didn't hear the discussion. When you walk out, then you tell them, by the way, this was a discussion. Not necessarily the litigants understand everything that the Dayanim are saying, even if they can hear it. They can.
Maybe the Dayanim leave.
I'm sorry?
Maybe the Dayanim are the ones that leave the room to discuss.
It doesn't seem like that. In the Mishnah it said, Hayu machnisin aysan. They would bring them in. It sounds like the litigants would bring the Dayanim back in. Machnisin aysan. It means that not that they would enter, but machnisin means that they would bring. Allah brings them back in. Okay, so first we think it's the litigants. We said 1 second, but they're standing there. Eladim. Rather, it's talking about the witness.
Do you do that in a modern based in?
Yeah, we would do step out sometimes, but
Who brings you back in?
that has to do with having a place for the other people to wait while we discuss and different things. It depends on. We would do it just based on the structure of the room, where we could put them, while when we want to discuss it.
So you will discuss in front of the Bali Dinim?
No. Most of the discussion is without them there. Yeah. I don't know about it. On the monetary, they can change their mind. The capital, I can change. Oh, I see what you're saying. Huh. Right. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So now we think we're talking about that you're going to bring the witnesses back in. Now, come on, who's this going like? Like Reb Nosson, it doesn't follow the opinion of Reb Nosson. You have to be patient with this brisa. There's two parts to this brisa, and neither of them really say what we're looking for here. So we say that, oh, it must be that our mission doesn't fit with Reb Nosson. The Tanya was taught in the brisa. In order to combine testimony, just I was asking about you. In order to combine testimony, they have to be the witnesses. They have to both see the scene together. To both see it together. That's the opinion of the Tanakama. Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha says, remember Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, son of Rabbi Akiva, right? He says, even if they see one after another. Yeah. Well, it's possible that Rabbi Akiva had a son before he married Rachel. At least he had a daughter also, but I don't know when. At least in that book, and Rachel was his wife. Apparently, he had a son beforehand, which I don't remember in the book if that's Rabbi Yeshua. But that's like a historical. What do they call it? It's a Those are good books. Two really good books. Rachel was his wife, and Akiva by Marcus Lehman. Yeah. Okay. He says, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha says that no, they don't have to see it together. They can see it one after another, the scene, and they can testify. Okay, now, new story. When they come to court to testify, they have to testify together. Our Mishnah seemed to say that they would give their testimony separately because they didn't want one to hear what the other was saying, and then they would cross-examine them. So in Reb Nosson Aimer, Reb Nosson says, Reb Nosson says, no, you can hear them separately. Now, in the simple reading of this, I got stuck on preparing this morning. It doesn't seem like it goes like Reb Nosson, but the simple reading is it seems like it goes exactly like Reb Nosson, because Reb Nosson says you can come in separately and say the testimony, which is exactly what the Mishnah says. So I looked in one of the Gemaras, but the commentary, the Lublin Gemara. Anyway, he says that what it means is like this: that we think Gamra Sadavar Hayamachnisin, when they finish this, they would bring them back in. They bring them back in to say their testimony again in order to get it together, in order to hear the testimony together. So that is they're assuming something. I didn't see that in Rashi or. Anyway, but it makes the Gemara work, so fine. So it seems like it's not like Reb Nosson now, because Reb Nosson says you don't have to bring them back in to say the testimony together. Nosson says saying the testimony separate is fine. The Gemara says, "Loi." We're not talking about the witnesses. Li'olam lebali dinim. Talking about the litigants. Reb Nechemia. It's the opinion of Reb Nechemia, the Tanya. Taught in a brisa. This was the custom of those pure-minded people of Jerusalem. Yeah, we had it before. The Nikiya Hadas. We had it once before about having the list of who they would sit with in judgment, the list of who they would eat with. Remember what the after was? Hello? We had it here in Sanhedrin. Maybe I wrote it on the top of the page. I have the. What does it really mean? Like the pure people. Was just a week ago. Yeah, that's yeah, and Daf Chaf Gimel. You look back on Daf Chaf Gimel, we had on the wide. There's 3 sets of wide lines. It's loyha yachaismen al ashtar elam ken yedim yichaisim iman. Loyashim medin elam ken yeshim elin chasim besud elam ken yedim yeshiv iman. And that's on the widest. That's it. What does it really mean? Just put over here. This is Daf Lamed. Yeah, but again, what is this reference? I'm trying to understand. I think it had to do with Tara. Over here, it had to do with Tara. Okay. So, Machnisin lebalidin v'shem devrayim. They would bring in the balidinim, the litigants, and they would listen to their claims. Machnisin seidim v'shem devrayim. They would bring in the witnesses and listen to them. They would take them outside, and then they would discuss it. And then afterwards they would bring them back in. So in other words, they would take the litigants out as well during the discussion. But Tanya, but 1 second, we have a brisa that clearly defines what it means that machnisin and that they would bring them back in. Gomer sadav machnisin edim. Doesn't use a pronoun here. It says the exactly who we're referring to. It says they would bring the witnesses back in. It says, okay, Hahud like Rab Nassan. That brisa doesn't fit with Rab Nassan, because Rab Nassan would say that you don't need to bring the Eidim back in to do their testimony again. Okay, now Gufa. Let's go back to discuss something that was mentioned in passing. In order for their testimony to be valid, they have to see the witnesses have to witness together, both witnesses together. That's the opinion of the Tanna Kamma. Rabbi ben Karcha says they don't have to witness it together; they can witness one after the other. But my kamifki, what is the machlekes about? You could say that they're arguing pshat in a pasuk. Say that they're arguing about something logical. 2 options here. One, we could say that it's logical. You see how it answers the second one first. Same as svara. Amanak the kamasid high like kamasid high. See, if they didn't see it together, then what would happen is like this. One witness comes in and says that I saw that Ruvain lent Shimon money in the morning. And then the other witness would come in and say, I saw Ruvain lent Shimon money in the afternoon. They didn't see it together. So how could we bring them together as two witnesses? They didn't see the same event. One of the kamasid high, like kamasid high. The $100 that this one is testifying, this one is not testifying about. V'idach, however, the other opinion says, Amana Balma Tavaya Kamasadi. This is an unbelievable machlekes. It said, I'm not testifying about the event, testifying about what he owes. The fact is, he owes $100. Doesn't matter. Very interesting. Okay. Others say that it's the machlekes here between the Tanna Kamma and Rabbi ben Karcha is about a pasuk. It says, and he is a witness, or he saw, or he knows. He's a witness, or he saw, or he knows. Betanya. Now, when it says he is a witness, Gemara is going to tell us that it doesn't mean he is a witness, but it means they are witnesses. Because the term aid always means 2. It was taught in a brisa, since the pasuk says that one witness shouldn't get up, that a witness shouldn't get up. Don't I know that it's one witness? Why do you have to say matam alay merachad? Why do you have to add in that it's one? Once you say a witness, then a witness is one witness. Why do you have to say a one witness?
It's not proper grammar.
It's not proper grammar. Okay. Zebnav. A is called an article. A and N. It's called an article. The is a definite article. It says a witness. In Hebrew, you don't have. There's no A and N. It's only a definite article. It's no article. So you have to add it in translation in English. It says Layakum aid. You can't even say it in English. Witness should not stand in English. You have to add in the A. A witness should not get up. So Zebnei Av Kol Makom Shneimar Eid Harikan Shneim Ad Sheyifrit Lachakasav Echad. It does. The Hey is a definite article.
Right.
So this means that there's two until the pasuk tells me that there's only one. So when it says the witness, so who aid, he is a witness. That means that there's both witnesses. You have to read that ad, not aid. That they until they both see it as one. What does the other opinion say? It doesn't matter. Coming to tell me that however they saw it, they didn't see it as one. That's also good. So there's two ways of learning this pasuk. Doesn't mean that they need to see it together. It doesn't mean that they don't need to see it together. Yeah.
There's a similar discussion in Sota, right? In the beginning of Sota. About
Yeah.
there's one or two.
Yeah.
It's very different than this. Yeah.
That's when someone the Gemara over there is talking about the seclusion. And then it says, but what if there's a witness, a single witness about that they actually did something besides for the seclusion? So that's that insight. It said that we would trust that one witness. Because Raglayim Ladaber, it said. Because we have room to suspect it. Yeah.
Here, if witnesses see event happen at different times, the testimonies can be different.
Right.
For example, the cow could be laying on the right side, and then when the other person saw it, be
That's going to come up soon. But meanwhile, the case that we brought now was just $100. So we said, it could be in that logical thing that it could be that they're just testifying that he owes $100. So we'll accept it. Okay, now we're going further, quoting the brises that we met, this brisa that we mentioned, and we're going to analyze it. But now when they come to court, they have to testify together. Yeah, you with me? Reb Nassan says no. This one can testify today, and when his friend comes tomorrow, he'll testify tomorrow. We'll accept their testimony. But what are they arguing about? See, this is very different than the previous machlekes. Previous machlekes was seeing together. Now we're saying about testifying together. Nevertheless, now we have the same options. Could be it's a logical machlekes. Could be it's a pasuk. If you want, I could say that's logical. No, if they could testify separately.
So is it about testified separately or about the judges here
together? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because if you hear words that with big space in between, you kind of establish your opinion for one.
Right. But that would be a concern with the litigants. If the litigants can testify without the other one, they are who testifies first, who says his claim first. But here we're talking about the witnesses that are supposed to be saying the same thing. The question is, do they have to both be there at the time of their? So
did we learn earlier that the?
Oh yeah. That's going to come up, I think, later.
Did we learn earlier that the procedure was for the Beis Din to, after admonishing in Miami the witnesses, to send out the younger and keep the oldest?
Yeah, we learned.
So they've already had each testify separately.
Right.
Now they're bringing them back.
Yeah.
To testify together.
They testify together now.
Even though a change of testimony is not accepted.
Right. But because of this halacha that they have to hear it together.
Okay.
That seems. It's funny that the Gemara doesn't spell that out, but it's all like this underlying thing that the Gemara doesn't. Anyway, Mar Savar, one opinion holds one opinion holds that when a single witness comes, he comes to bring an oath to have them swear, because two witnesses can extract money, but one witness can only administer and can cause that they administer an oath. He doesn't come to extract money. V'idach, the other opinion holds. So in other words, I can't have them coming separately, because if they come separately, then each one was not really testifying to extract money. Each one was testifying independently to administer an oath. So they need to be together. The other opinion says, what do you think? Even if they're standing there together, are they using the same mouth to talk? They're still saying their testimony separately. So what's the difference if one's there, one's not there, one comes tomorrow? Anyway, it's not. Each one is saying his own thing independently. Rather, it must be elements of little. But the Dayanim say we're going to join them together. I don't need his intention of what he's doing at this point. The Dayanim are going to decide what that is, if it's for extracting money or for an oath. So they can also, the Dayanim can also combine what the person's testimony is going to be effective, how it's going to be effective. You say Mikra? If you want, you could say it's a pasuk. If he doesn't testify, then he carries his guilt. That means that a person has an obligation to testify. The Kuli Alma and everyone is going to hold. We're referring over here to the Tanakam and Reb Nassan that are arguing. Who's Kuli Alma? The whole world, right? Who's the whole world? These two sages. That everyone holds like the Rabbanan, the Pligi Allah, the Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha that argued on Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, which we said before, that when it comes to witnessing the event, the Rabbanan held that you could use, that they could come separately, right? That they could witness, not come, that they could witness it separately. And I'm sorry, that they need to see it together. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha said that they can witness it separately. The Rabbanan say, that they have to see it together. So, everyone holds like the Rabbanan. The Pligi Allah, Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, that which would allow them to do it separate, to see it separately. And now we're discussing now, do we do a comparison between the witnessing of the event, which needs to be together, to the testimony that they give? Marsava, the Tanakama holds, Makshina Gadalaria. Tanakama hold that it needs to be together, that we do a comparison, just like the witnessing needs to be together. So too, the testimony needs to be together. Marsava Makshina, and Reb Nassan holds that it's allowed to be separate. We don't do that comparison. Witnessing needs to be together. Okay. Reb Shimon ben Yakim have a mishtaket Allah. Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Chanina Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina was a student of Rabbi Yochanan, and Reb Shimon ben Yakim wanted to give Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina smicha. He was like hoping to give him smicha. But it never worked out. Yomi Echad, one day, the Rabbi Yochanan is sitting in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Amalahu, Rabbi Yochanan says to them, does anyone know if the halacha is like Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha? Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha said that you have to witness the testimony. I'm sorry, that you're allowed to witness the testimony separately. You're allowed to witness the event separately. So, Amalei Rab Shimon ben Yakim Dein Yada. Rab Shimon ben Yakim says that Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina knows. It's pointing to him. Says Amalei Leima Isu. So say Amalei. Actually, I haven't said Leima easy. Easy is like my friend. Say my friend. Speak. Amalei, he says, you see that he is all of us need his opinion. Why don't we give him smicha? If we need his opinion, we should get smicha. Amalei, okay, samche. He gave him smicha. Amalei, that was easy, right? What happened to his test? Amalei,
Before he answered.
Give me before he answered, right? This is like Beis Hillel converting the person before he's taught him Torah. Yeah. Amalei B'ni, Amarli Ketzat Shemata. Tell me, what did you hear? Amalei Kach Shemati. What I heard is the following: Shemaidu Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha Reb Nassan. The Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha admits to Reb Nassan. Now listen to this. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha says that the testimony is that the witnessing of the event is allowed to be separate, and that's still considered witnesses together. And he admits to Reb Nassan that says that the giving of the testimony is allowed to be separate. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, this is what I needed. For this, I needed to give smicha. Hashta uma ikariya probably. When it comes to the witnessing of the event, that has to be together. And nevertheless, Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha Rabbi Yeshua ben says that it's not, doesn't need to be together. Haggadah, when it just comes to relating what happened, mibai, the testimony, does that need to be together? If they don't even need to see together, for sure they don't need to. So you need to tell me that Rabbi Shua ben Karcha agrees to Rab Nassan. I didn't need that. Amalei, he said to Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina, Hayil v'alisa leitered. Okay, you got smicha already. Okay, you got it. Yeah, you got in. Amar Rab Zera says, Shmamina Gabarab, even the samach samach. A great person, once he gives smicha, the person gets smicha. I don't understand what Rab Zera is saying. Do you have any notes over there? What's like Rab Zera saying? That's like saying the obvious thing. We just said that.
Maybe saying that it was not that.
Yeah, it says even if it was a mistake,
Even if it's a mistake. Okay.
So he's saying you can't take it away. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah. I read this tshuva once from Rabbi what's his name? The Riv Ephraim, the Rabbi Greenblatt, Ephraim Greenblatt. It was in Memphis or something. He wrote. There's a bunch of svarim. Riv Ephraim. I mean, one of the things he said about someone got smicha, but then he fried out, and then he comes back. Is he still considered a rabbi? He said that he has to get smicha again. I don't remember his source, but it's interesting. Then they retract. No, but what that it says in Shulchan Aruch, that he's considered just like a regular Jew that left. But once a person converts, he's converted. If he was sincere at the time of the conversion's round, then afterwards he's considered Jewish, no matter what happens. Yeah.
So is that a din in the Shulchan Aruch? Is someone who no longer accepts, someone who becomes smicha and then becomes an apikoros automatically loses that status?
That's what he claims.
Uh-huh.
That's what he claims. Yeah.
They didn't do that back in the times of the Gemara, did they? I'm thinking of the story.
Again, I don't
Thinking
know.
of the story of the famous apikoros. My name slips me now.
Elisha ben Avuya.
Yes, but people, did he? Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened to him.
He came.
He didn't come back at the end.
So I'm sorry.
All right. He didn't come back. Who got rid of the smoke coming out of his grave? Who was it? Till Reb Meir. Reb Meir got rid of. I thought it was someone else.
Or Meir was his great student.
Okay. Amar Rav Barav and Amarav Halachik Rabbi Shua Ben Karcha Ben Bekarkais Ben Metalkin. Rav Chia Baravin says the name of Rav. The halacha is like Rabbi Shua Ben Karcha. Rabbi Shua Ben Karcha says that the witnessing could be done separately. The two witnesses could witness the event separately, whether it's karka, whether it's metalplin. We're going to get into the difference shortly, but anyway, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. Only if it's 1 hour difference between the two testimony.
Oh, when the event.
That would be by witnessing a murder. This is talking about witnessing alone or whose it is, or if he admitted about something.
So the time.
This is like a more monetary case. Yeah. Sorry?
The timing of the event that the witnesses saw doesn't have.
Oh,
they report.
Yeah, but that's what Shalom is telling us is that they're allowed to be a little bit off because they didn't have they didn't have the exact they didn't have atomic clocks. Ula Amar. Ula, this is the traveler, he says, Halacha Rabbi Shua ben Karcha bekarkois. Avalei ben metalton. Only when it comes to land. You see, the interesting thing is that land, it can't be discussing a different piece of property. By land, it has to be the same piece of property. When it comes to money, and you're testifying about something, that I saw it today, you saw it yesterday. So I saw he lent money yesterday. I saw he lent money today. So yes, he definitely owes him $100, but it wasn't the same money that he lent him yesterday as today. But by the land, it's the same thing. So over here, Ula is saying the karkois. He must have admitted that this land was what didn't belong to him yesterday, and now he's saying that this land doesn't belong to him. He said it today, but it's got to be the same piece of property.
When it
So-
comes to personal, got two loans.
Right, it could be two loans.
You don't have two witnesses on one instance.
Right. Avalib metaltlan, but not by metaltlan. So in other words, the logic is better for Rabbi Shua ben Karcha by karkais. Amalei Abaya says, if you're telling me the halacha is like Rabbi Shua ben Karcha by karkais, halacha mechlal de pligi. Abaya speaks to Ula sometime. So it must be that they argue, and you're telling me that the halacha is like that. The problem is, they never argued about that. So that was an easy one to say the halacha is like him if there's no machlekes. You were trying to say the halacha is like him when there is a machlekes. V'tani Ravidi Baravin b'nezaken debekarna meidem chacham leRabbi Shua ben Karcha be'edus bechar be'edus karka be'edus chazaka v'chein shebeben shabbas. And we even have this this mishnayos that was called Seder Nezikin. It was taught in the yeshiva of Karna. Karna was a friend of Shmuel, and apparently they had their own Masechta mishnayos there. And over there, it said that the Chachamim agreed to Rabbi Shua ben Karcha in the following cases: Edus Bechar, if two witnesses testify that this, you see, what would happen is a Bechar would be a sacrifice unless there was a mum in it. If it was a mum, then the Kayan could eat it on his own. So today, but you can't trust the Kayan. That's right, because he might put it in on his own. So I have a witness that says, that he did not put the blemish in on his own. Now another witness that comes and says a different blemish, he didn't put it on his own. Now we go to check the blemishes, and we see that both blemishes are right. But we have but both witnesses combined together would tell me that there's a mum here. That he's testifying about a different mum, but we know that he didn't put in this combined together. He didn't put the mum. He didn't put one of the mum in, and that's going to be acceptable even according to the Chachamim. Vedas Karka, they said also testimony about the way Rashi puts this. One witness says that he had a chazaka of 3 years. The other witness says he had a chazaka of 3 years later. Of year 4, 5, and 6, he had a chazaka. First witness said he had a chazaka of year 1, 2, and 3. The second was 4, 5, and 6. And that would combine. And no, I'm sorry. Eidos Karka means that he admitted that it's his or not his. Eidos Chazaka is that 4, 5, and 6. And same as for a son or a daughter. Now we're going to see that. Now, whatever the case is, we see that there's no machlekes. Where it says Gavra Karamas. You're asking a question from one opinion on another opinion. How could you say this? Is there another opinion that says differently? That's not a kasha. Mar savar pligi, mar savar pligi. There's a machlekes if they argue. Rav and Ravidi hold that they don't argue, and other Ula holds that they do argue. What's the meaning? He said they can have two witnesses regarding a son and a daughter. Maybe the meaning is like this. One witness said, we're talking about if she reached maturity, a girl or a boy reached maturity. One says that I saw a hair on her finger, which would mean that she's maturing. Other one says I saw it on her stomach. Now there's different opinions about what this is, if it's higher up or lower up or whatever, or maybe Gaba means on her back. The Gemara says 1 second, but if each witness is only testifying to one hair, that's not a testimony that she's mature. You have to testify to 2 hairs, and I need 2 witnesses to do that. But each of them have to testify to 2 hairs, not each of them testify to 1 hair. So then, that's only half of the story, which is nothing.
Right.
I need each witness to testify to 2 hairs. I need 2 witnesses about the event. I can't have one witness say that he pulled out a gun, and another witness say that he shot it. But right.
This is the same idea.
Or something like that. But the witness that's saying that half the story is not saying anything. Right. Ella, rather, rather, there's two witnesses. I'm sorry. One witness is saying that there's two ears. Another witness is saying that there's two ears. I'm Rabbi Yosef. Okay. Rabbi Yosef says, I said in the name of Ula, Halachic Rabbi Shua ben Karcha bein bekarkais bein metaltalin. Halachic Rabbi Shua ben Karcha by both. Rabbanan dasim mechuza amri. The Rabbanan that came from mechuza, they said, Amar Rabbi Zeir Shmei Rab bekarkais and Abalei metaltalin. That the halacha is only like Rabbi Shua ben Karcha by land, but not by metaltalin, which is what we said before in the name of Ula. But he explains it like this. Rabbi Yosef says, Rab l'tamei damar. Rab says, follows his opinion that because Rab says, Haida achar Haida. If there's two witnesses, you got it? Yeah.
We didn't do no two witnesses.
Two
Do it again,
witnesses.
have to do it again.
Two witnesses. One testifies that this person admitted that he borrowed money on Sunday. And then another witness says that this person admitted that he borrowed money on Tuesday. On Tuesday, he admitted that he borrowed money. So, or if one witness says that he lent money on Sunday, Monday, right? And the second witness says that he admitted that one witness says that this person borrowed money on Sunday. The other witness says that he admits that he borrowed money but it's on Monday. He says that he admits that he borrowed money on Sunday. So mitzdarfi, that for sure can combine because they're each testifying about the same event. Halva achar halva. Let's say one witness says that he borrowed money on Sunday. The other one says that he borrowed money on Monday. Halva achar halva. One witness says he admitted that he borrowed money on Sunday. The other witness says that he borrowed money on Monday. That has to be a different event. Lay mitzdarfi, it doesn't combine. So that would mean that when it comes to monetary things, the witnesses don't combine. That's what would be Rab's opinion. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is the same generation as Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. Do you have that in your chart at this time?
Next.
You're not this one?
Which two
No,
rabbis?
not
The other
that
guy.
chart. Rav
Which two?
Nachman bar Yitzchak and Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. They should be under Rava, under Abai and Rava.
Yeah, that one.
Nachman bar
Bar Yitzchak
Yitzchak, yeah.
and Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua.
Yep.
They're on the same
That's
level?
Rav Papa.
Okay. So Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak finds Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua Malay, Maishna halva halva delay. Why, when it comes to borrowing money, if he says one witness testifies that money was borrowed on Sunday, another witness testifies that money was borrowed on Monday, we say that doesn't combine. The money the kachazi high like kachazi high, that the $100 that this person saw being lent or borrowed was not seen by this person. When it comes to admitting as well, money the kamaidi kami high like kamaidi kami high. Maybe the admitting that he admitted to this person, he admitted to a different $100 to that person. It was admitting on Monday. Sunday was admitting on Monday. He answered him. He says to Amar Le, because he said to him Lahai Basra to the second person. No, this is the same $100 that I admitted to so and so yesterday. Sakati Basra yada kamala yada. But the first person doesn't know that this was what he admitted to the second person is the same that he admitted to him. Well, he says, goes back to the first person on Tuesday, and he tells him that what I admitted to you on Sunday, I admitted also to someone on Monday, to someone else on Monday. So everyone knows that this is the same testimony. It's very good, thank you. You relaxed my mind. You could be settled. I'm totally relaxed now. I understand this perfectly. Amalei, Rav Huna Bar Rabbi Yeshua says, "My nichusa, why are you so settled?" The Rav of Yitim Rav Sheshes showed the main naga. It's not the answer that I gave you is not really a good answer. They threw an X into it. If that's the case, then it's the same case as borrowing and admitting, where when he admits to that he borrowed, it's the same It's the same case of that he borrowed on Sunday. One person testifies that he borrowed money on Sunday. On Monday, he admits that he borrowed money on Sunday. So that's the same case if he's admitting, if it's the same $100 that was borrowed. Amalei, so Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, oh, that's what they say about you people. The remisa dikli was a kfisalahu, that you uproot palm trees and then you replant them. In other words, like you give me an answer and then you tell me that it's not a good answer. So, okay. Nardoi Yamri, Nardoi says,
don't have deep roots.
can you replant them easily?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they use this example.
Palm trees were deep, just not wide.
They have to be.
No. You see them when they move them on the highway all the time. You see this 20-foot palm tree and the bottom is just like 5 feet maybe. It's fine that the resistance to hurricanes and all
Right.
that doesn't have to do with
It has to do with
roots. Yeah,
It's
it's with the flexible spaghetti like.
you can
That's so
take the
interesting.
way.
Roots aren't there. Yeah,
You
you're right.
take
When they
the
move these
bends.
things, when they grow them on top of the land. So when they remove them, they just have to slice off the bottom a little bit, put it on a truck.
So
whether we learn.
Professor saying that
Skinny.
that the palm trees don't have deep roots, so they're very easy to uproot
And easy to replant.
and easy to replant. I saw a tree falling, a coconut tree falling outside my house. Yeah. It was wind, just fell.
It was a straight tree, not a
Not good.
crooked tree.
It was a little crooked.
So probably his roof.
Yeah, it was leaning.
The one
I
in
have
your
another
house.
one that's leaning. I'm worried about it.
The one in your house.
No,
So
it fell
leaning
out
on
into
your
the
house
street.
or away from you?
It's like very close though.
But which
And,
way is it leaning? to?
Leaning towards the
Other side.
driveway.
Ah, don't worry. Just don't park there.
Okay.
Yeah, you listen to a park there.
If you want a new car.
Right. So where are we holding over here? I lost the place. It's New York IT. Okay. Nardoi says, Bein bahida acharida, bein baida chalva, bein alva al chalva, bein alva acharida mistarfis. Nardoi says that it all combines together, whether he's admitting or whether it's two separate loans, all of this combines together. Come on, who would that go like? Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, that would fit with Rabbi Shua ben Karcha that we learned earlier today. Rabbi Shua ben Karcha holds that the fact is that even if each single witness is testifying to a different event of borrowing money, but the fact is that there is $100 that he owes. Two witnesses, so that would be acceptable. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, "Eidas hamakesha zu ezu bebedikes." If when it comes to the questioning of the witnesses, things don't come out the same. But nevertheless, it would be acceptable in dini mamas. Now, this is not the time of the event and all of that, which are very significant. These are secondary type questions. Amar Rava says, that would fit Rav Yehuda's din, that what he just said over here, is if the wallet that he used to lend him the money was black, and the other one said that the wallet was white. But if one says that the money that he gave him was black and the money that he gave him was white, which means like an older coin or he gave him a newer coin, that would not combine. That would be too different. There would be a discrepancy in their testimony. You see, what we're doing now is we're being medai. That Rava said that mistabra. I'm sorry. Rabbi Yehuda said that this would work b'dini maminus, but not b'dini nefashos. It won't work when it comes to capital cases. The capital cases, that's going to be a problem. It says 1 second. But even by capital cases, it's not going to be a problem because if it's a difference between a black wallet or Rav Chizda said, one person says he killed him with a sword, the other person says he killed him with a scalpel or an axe. So and that would not combine together. That's two different. But if one says that his clothing was dark, another one said his clothing were white, that would still be a good testimony. Maybe they didn't notice the clothing. We wouldn't say that that's a discrepancy and you can't trust him. So the Gemara says, Gavra Karamis. You're asking a question from Rav Yehuda and Rav Chizda. That's not okay. There's a machlekes here between Rav Yehuda and Rav Chizda. Now Doi says, even if the actual coin, one says he lent him an old coin, the other one says he lent him a new coin, that would still combine. Come on, who would that go? Like Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, that says it doesn't matter. The fact is he owes him $100. One second. Rabbi Shua ben Karcha said, one witness says that he lent him money on Sunday. Other witness says he lent him money on Monday. So we combine them together in our minds and we say that the fact is, according to both of these witnesses, he owes $100. However, but if both of them say it was on Sunday and they can't get the story straight, but does Rabbi Shua ben Karcha say that we trust them anyway? There's a discrepancy in their testimony. Maybe they're lying. We had no reason to assume that they're lying when one said Sunday, one said Monday. It was a different story. Right. But now that they're talking about the same story and they don't have the facts right, so then maybe they're lying. Ella, who the Amarkai Tana, rather, this is not Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, this is a different opinion. The Tanya. So in the Brayser from Shimon ben Elazar says, Bishami and Basil never argued if two groups of witnesses come. One says that he lent $200. One says he lent $100. That we're going to say that he definitely lent $100. We don't know about the second, but we definitely lent 100. What's the machlekes Bishami Basil? Al katachas. When it comes to one group, Bishami says that we divide up their testimony, which means that one of them is not saying the truth. Basil says no, they're saying the truth about the 100. So this could be that they're following that opinion. Let me just go one drop further. Okay, no, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Do they combine? We know that he owes 100 for sure, but do they combine? They can pay the 200?
No, the 100. 100.
But they said different dates, so it could be that it was 2 loans instead of 1.
I know, but we only know about one. We only know that he owes $100. So who is saying like this? Nardai that says about
They only combine the part that it's like
right, the common part. Yeah. Okay, and now we have a new case. One says that he gave him a barrel of wine. The other one says he gave him a barrel of oil. Oil is more expensive than wine. Olive oil. Yeah. There was such a story that came in front of Rabami. They were both testified. There were 2 witnesses. One testified that he gave him wine. One said he gave him oil. He said you have to give him the value of the wine, which is included in the value of the oil. It means you don't have to give him the oil. You have to give him the value of wine. They're both basically testified. Let's say wine cost $20 and oil cost $30. They has to give him $20 from the 30. Come on, who would that go? Like Reb Shimon ben Elazar, who said that they still would hold the Ishbachal Masayim Mana, that included in 200 is 100. Reb Shimon ben Elazar, the Ishbachal Masayim Mana. 1 second. Over there, you had value. You have when you have $200, so 100 is included in 200. Okay, Gavna Miyamar, would he say this about this? Over here, it's two separate things. Was it wine or was it oil? It's like no, we're talking about it was the value of the wine, the value of the oil. That's what he gave him. That's what he owed me. One said that he lent him the money upstairs. The other one said he lent him the money downstairs. And Rebbe combined the testimony because together they owe $100, even though there was a contradiction in their testimony.
So is it up to the judge, kind of?
That's
It's
what it
in
seems.
his discretion?
It's probably coming down the steps. One strong from above, one strong from below.
Yeah. It was on the landing between the two floors.
Relative.
The staircase, I mean, when it turns. How do you know that when you come out of court, you can't say that I really would have liked to go your way, but everyone overruled me? So, shouldn't go over to the guy and say, the guy that lost, and say, I was really on your side, but what should I do? That my friends overruled me. You should not go and reveal gossip. You shouldn't reveal gossip. On that Milsa de Bedichas, did you see that? The joke? That one said, these three old ladies, don't remember exactly, but these three old ladies are like talking, and they're dying. They say, I want you to know that I wouldn't like call you back and all of these things all this time. I'm really an alcoholic, and I would drink too much and whatever. And other one says, I wanted to tell you this, but I wasn't able to. But remember, like the money that I said I needed, and this, I lost the money in gambling. I have a gambling addiction, and I lost the money. And the third one says, I want me to tell you that I'm a big gossiper, and I can't wait to get to the phone. Okay.
She should have spoke first.
Who told me there was this student, the Nafakala Kala, the Gully Milsa, Jitmer Bey Midrasha. Rumor got out that he would reveal things. Basar Eser V'Tartin Shtin, Nafakala Kala, the Gully Milsa. Word got out that he revealed things that were said in the Beis Medrash after 22 years. Afki Rabami Bey Midrasha Madain Gali Razia. Ami kicked him out of the Beis Medrash. He said this is a revealer of secrets. It must have been, when it says Bey Midrasha, it must have been the you have 22 years? Yeah. It must have been a court case. It wasn't just what occurred. It must have been, when it says Bey Midrasha, it must have been that people came to the Beis Medrash to get judged. And he said
Why did they kick him out?
they didn't want him there because he would reveal what happened, for personal things that happened, personal cases. And maybe he said that this rabbi wanted to go this way, this rabbi wanted to paskin that way, which was not correct. So 22 years. Is there a statute of limitation on what happened in court or something? Are these things? Is a doctor ever allowed to say about a patient, even like after the patient dies? Is he allowed to say?
Unless the
Yeah,
court.
Even after the death, they can't say.
What's he gonna say? I killed him?
No, let's say
No,
a
he was
therapist or something, a psychologist. They reveal things to the psychologist that the psychologist is not allowed to say. But is he allowed to say after the person dies?
If the court summons him, yeah.
Not if the court summons.
No,
I don't.
Talking about just because he wants to write a book.
Is Yitzi there?
No, yes, he's not there.
Because the question is the privilege
He's sued by
By the dead.
survive the death?
You may not be able to sue.
If the privilege survives
Does the
the death.
privilege survive the death, or does it release the privilege?
Uh-huh.
I don't see why it would. Why would it?
It would still be confidential, right?
Yeah.
Two lawyers. See?
I would hope so, but Daniel, think of all the constitutional privileges that the government can force to waive.
Mhm.
Like if you have a privilege to remain silent unless the government waives its opportunity to prosecute, you lose the privilege, I think.
Okay,
The two grandmothers and 3 yards. What was addiction? What was one of the first ones?
the alcoholic addiction, alcohol addiction
One was an addiction and she,
was gambling, one was alcohol, another one was the gossip.
they're all addictions.
You have to go back to your wife to tell the joke.
Yeah.
That's the lady.
They're all addictions.
Okay, Kolsman, we're up to the Mishnah. Kolsman maybe Raya, Seiser Sadin. If you bring a proof even after the Beis Din had everything settled, but you come back and you say, 1 second, I found the document. So you can go back and Seiser, you can Seiser means like to contradict, to
They say nullify.
nullify. Okay. Omer Loi. Let's say the court told him, Kol raya sheyesh lecha havi mikana shleishim yom. I give you 30 days to bring in any testimony that you want. Matzah b'teich shleishim yom seiser. If he brings it within 30 days, then it will nullify the judgment that they already had. Nachar shleishim yom. If it's after 30 days, ain't a seiser. It's too late. They gave him a certain time, and now that's the right statute of limitation. And now it's too late. Can't bring it in anymore. Amram Shimon ben Gamliel. Shimon ben Gamliel says, "Whoa, what is this person supposed to do?" The fact is, he found it later. He found it when it was cleaning for Pesach.
So you could like appeal a case like this.
According to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, you'll be able to appeal it. Yeah. Amalai, let's say they said to him, Havi Edim. Amar ainly Edim. He says, I don't have. Amar Havi Raya. They said, bring a proof, like a document. Amalai ainly Raya. I don't have a document. Lachasman Havi Raya Matzedim. But then afterwards, he shows up with the document, or he shows up with the witnesses. Now that's too late. He said he doesn't have. We suspect that there must be either a forgery or the witnesses. He probably figured out that he could get people to testify, and he pays them. One second, Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says, what about if this person didn't realize that he had a document? He didn't realize that people were watching the event. So Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, in both of these cases, would allow the person to bring these witnesses after. Rosh Mischayev Bedin, if he sees that this is not going the way he wants it to, Vamar, Kivra Plani Viduni, and then he says, okay, I see I'm going to have to bring in these witnesses. So and he goes and he gets the witnesses. Or he takes out a document later that he didn't show at the beginning.
You can't use it.
That you can't use. He takes it out from under his belt, pulls out a document. Why not? We suspect that this isn't correct. There's something wrong here.
The case that they allow him, does it have to be that obvious that he didn't have, didn't know about it?
We're gonna see. That's gonna be a machlekes. If it is obvious, everyone's gonna agree. Amar Rabba Baravuna halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. See this? Halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Now, I think with the Gemara over here is only talking about the first case, where he says, you have 30 days to bring it. And he brings it after 30 days. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says that we accept it. Amar Rabba Baravuna, and Rabba Baravuna also says, Ein halacha k'divrei chacham, and halacha is not like the chacham. What's this pshita? That's obvious. Given the halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, meili adina, the ein halacha k'chacham, there's a machlekes. So if you say the halacha is like this one, then obviously the halacha is not like that one. Mrs. Mao, the teimani mi lechatchila. I could have thought that lechatchila, you go like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Avol diavad shaper dami k'mash blan diavad madrin anlay. But let's say you pass like the chachamim, then we should leave it. If we say no, I'm not accepting the new testimony, the new proof that you brought. Maybe we should leave it because the Beis Din already paskin. Mashmalan, that the Beis Din has to go and pay the person because they paskin. Madrinanle, they have to it's going to be the responsibility of the Bezdin to make sure that this goes into, gets paskened according to the way the testimony that he now has. Okay. Now the second case, where they tell him to bring witnesses, and he says that I don't have witnesses. So listen, Amar Rabba Bar Rav Huna Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Now he says in the name of the Rabbi Yochanan, Halacha kedivrei chachamim. The halacha is not like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. You have to realize Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is Rebbe's father, yeah, or is Rebbe's grandfather, or great grandfather, right? There's two Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. I assume it's Rebbe's father. I don't know. And usually the halacha is like it. Comes along here, we say the halacha is like the chacham. Amar Rabba Bar Rav Huna Amar Rabbi Yochanan ein halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Halacha not Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. It's obvious. Given that halacha kedivrei chachamim, meli yadin, the ein halacha yadana, the ein halacha Reb Shimon. If you say the halacha is like the chacham, then it's not like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. It's a machlekes. Kamash Malan is coming to tell us that it's only in this case that halacha is not like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. But in every other Mishnah, halacha Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, we always paskin like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Halacha is always like Reb Shimon, except for this one case. Well, you said Shalom is asking, but I thought it says instead of except for three cases. This is excluding. This is to negate what Rabbi Bar Bachana is in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Except for three cases, comes along Rabbi Bar Rav Huna in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that says except for one case. Allah Shalom. This Rabbi Bar Bachana in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, and this Rabbi Bar Rav Huna in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Bar Bachana was the more popular one. He says Allah is like Rabbi Shimon except for three cases. Here we have Rabbi Bar Rav Huna that says Allah is like Rabbi Shimon except for one case. Hahu Yenuka, the Tavul Ladina, Kameder Rav Nachman. There was a child who was brought to Bezdin, in front of Rav Nachman. Amalei Yislasadi. They asked the child, do you have witnesses? Amalei Loi, he says, I don't have witnesses. Harai, he says, do you have proof? Amalei Loi. Said no. So Chayber Rav Nachman said, okay, then you have to pay. Abi Kabachi Basil says he's crying. Shamu Hanachinshi, people hear about this. Amalei, I know you didn't build the 1 second. I know about what's going on with your father or matters that happened. Amar Rav Nachman, Afilu Rabbanan Maidu, Afilu Rabbanan Maidu. But here, even the Rabbanan would agree that he can come in and bring this and be witnesses later. The fact that he said that I don't know, that there were no witnesses, that's because he didn't know. But other people did know. So when it became so obvious, the explanation for why he said that, then even the Rabbanan would agree. That there was a woman, the Nafek Shtar Mitus the other, that a document came out of her hand. Amrlei, Yedanabai started the Priyahu. She was holding onto a document as a third party that maybe was partially paid or something, and they gave it to her to hold. So she takes out the document saying that, look, there's a loan, but I know that this loan was paid. So Amalei Yadanabai says, Hemni Rav Nachman believes her. Rav Nachman, come on, why do you believe her? She's just one witness. She's not even a witness. Rebbe, do you follow Rebbe? Are you considering this document as her own document and she could use it to collect a debt? Is that the way you're viewing this? And she's the one that's admitting that it's paid, which means so it's considered hers, and she can admit that. Amalei, so Rav Nachman said, Shani Hacha, this is different. Boy Kalse, if she wanted, she could have burnt it. So it's a real like amigo. She's the one that's pulling the document. She's the one that's allowed to say what it is. She didn't want to use the document. She could have said that, oh, there's no document. Ikadamri Loyhamni Rav Nachman. It's another version to the story where Rav Nachman doesn't believe her. Amalei Rav Nachman, Rav says to Rav Nachman, Boy Kalse, and Rav said to him, but if she wanted, she could burn it. And so why didn't Rav Nachman accept that? Given the Ischazik Beidina, Ibai Kalsi Layamrina. Fact is that this was notarized. So once it's been notarized and people know about it, then we can't just say that she could have burnt it. because it was notarized, that means they had the Dayanim sign that the signatures are acceptable on this document. Then she felt like it's already been known. You can't just like deny it though entirely.
Isn't there some special rule about a shlish that the testimony of their testimony is accepted as was single? There's never a need for two witnesses. Isn't there some special rule about for them? I seem to recall that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The word when it's like, when she's like holding them, when on her thing that contradicts. For example, like, when the Migo's involved, if she was holding a document as a person that is owing the money, and she brings it, she says that she.
No, you don't hold a document for someone that owes the money. You hold the document for someone that's collecting the money.
She would have been.
No, the one that's she's always on the side of the lender. The one that the third person is holding it for the lender, holding it for the lender. Because the document is always in the hands of the one that can use it, which is either to prove that it was paid or to prove that he. Yeah, Esvei Reveler of Nachman. Rav asked Rav Nachman the following question: Simpan Sheshel of Adam. Let's say there's a receipt that was signed. You have to notarize. You have to check check the witnesses, and then it's going to be valid. Ein olav Adam if it doesn't have witnesses on it. And it's in the hands of a third party, or it's in the hand of, or it was on the document itself. That's going to be kosher. Alma shlish meheman. We see that you trust the third person. Tifta the Rav Nachman, Tifta. There's a kasha Rav Nachman. Yeah, this is Rav Naftali. This must be what you're referring to. That the third person is always trusted.
Yeah, the shlish. Yeah.
Kelser Rav Dimi Amar Rabbi Yechanan. The Rashal takes out the second tiyufta. I wonder why. Maybe because the halacha follows it. We don't like to say tiyufta, there's someone tiyufta, and then the halacha goes like it. But if it says only tiyufta once, it's possible. We had before tiyufta da abaya, remember that? The tiyufta da abaya tiyufta, and the Gemara asks, tiyufta behelchasa? And we explained that the tiyufta was coming from Rabbi Yossi, which we didn't pass on. Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Dimi came, he said, in Rabbi Yochanan, maybe Raya V'Saiser, you can always bring a proof and annul the verdict. Until he himself stops the claims, and the Yomer Kiver plain Viduni, and then he tries to say, okay, bring in the witnesses that I have. Now, let's take a look at the Gemara, how the Gemara explains Rav Dimi. A lot of things that Rav Dimi brings from Rabbi Yochanan end up getting rejected or questioned or something, and we need to have another source for it to make it clear. Kasha. Yeah, we have a problem here. Amrit Yistim Tanaisav, Yistatim Tanaisav. We said until he himself stops his claim. That means he says, I don't have anything. So then that in that case, the Rabbanan held, Asan the Rabbanan. That goes according to the Rabbanan, that they held that if he says that I don't have any proof, then he can't bring any more proof. Right? They asked him, Havi Edim? I mean, only Edim. Right? Hadar Amrit, Kirvuish plenty veiduni, Asan Rav Shimon Gamliel. But then when it says, bring in those witnesses that I have at the end of the case, when he sees it's not going his way, then we don't trust it. That's Rav Shimon ben Gamliel's view of not trusting it. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel would say that if he finds it later, we would trust it. So are we following Rav Shimon ben Gamliel that if he finds testimony later, we would trust it? In other words, the end of this statement of Rabbi Yochanan looks like there's a very specific scenario where we don't trust it. It's when he sees it's not going his way, and then he tries to pull in some witnesses. But if that wasn't the case, we would trust him if he finds witnesses later. Maybe the entire statement here is Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, and it's just explaining Reb Shimon ben Gamliel's opinion. Because it says, what does it mean until he blocks, till he stops his claims? Until he says, okay, you come in and testify. In this last proof testimony, we don't go like him. The halacha is not like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Elak Yasser Shmuel bar Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Reb Shmuel bar Yehuda came and he said in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Loilam Mevi Raya v'Seisrat, she staten Tanais of Yermelai Havi Edim, V'Amar Ainli Edim, Havi Raya, V'Amar Ainli Raya. Aval Bo Edim Medina Sayam, this guy should love him of Kedas Biadacher, is Mevi Raya v'Seisrat. When do we say that he can't claim anymore? That's when they asked him, do you have anything else to say? He says no. But if they asked him, he says he doesn't have anything else to say, but witnesses came from a faraway country, or we find a sack of documents that his father's documents were put into, then it was just he found it. So then he's allowed to bring that later, right? Like you said before, by the child and by the child. Guess Rav Dimi Am Rabbi Yechon, another statement. Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rabbi Yechon, I think of a square badin. This is a very important. This is like the most common shilas. Someone is bringing his friend to court. He's summoning to court. Echad Aimer, one says, Nidan Khan. He says, I want to take you to the court that's right here. Echad Aimer, and the other one says, Neilach l'makam avad. I want to go to the place where all the sages are, a different court. We force him to go to the other court that this person said, where all the sages are. Amal fun of Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar says to Rabbi Yechanan, Rebbe, if someone lends to his friend money, Yotzi mana al mana, does he have to spend mana, another $100 in travel expenses to be able to get back the money? We judge him right here. We don't make him spend money to do that.
Well, it's just like paying these lawyers to get your money back.
Right.
You sometimes pay more.
Pay more sometimes for the lawyer. Yeah.
What happens in American law if there's a crime that has the person lives in one state and where the crime took place?
The ones that are jurisdiction.
And if it's money, which not necessarily has a location.
Usually
Where it was based.
It's pretty complicated. Personal jurisdiction. There's a long arm statute. There's a lot of exceptions, and
Because this could cost a lot of money if someone has to go spend, I don't know, 6 months in some other state because there's a long drawn out case that there's something.
yeah, that's what credit card companies do, right? They have these arbitration clauses, things that makes it much more complicated to be able to fight them.
Oh yeah, he would give it to the money in the Bestin that he's at, and then
escrow.
I guess like they were trying to do this, and I don't remember how it finished. But we had this before.
Itmanami. You have another statement, Amar of Safra, possibly Amar of Yechanan. Shnayim shenitzasmu badin. There's two people that are struggling in court. Echadaimer Nidan Khan. One says, let's get judged here. Echadaimer Neilach l'makam avad. Other one says, let's go to the place where the big court is, where all the sages are. They judge him in this city. And if they have a question, because this is like a small court, and they don't have all the sages there, so they write it up and they send the message. And if the person says, write it for me, and give to me the reason that's why you judge like this. He's allowed to ask for the reason why it was paskin like that. This is called mehechan dantuni, right? What made you paskin like this? And they have to say. But it's interesting because in Choshen Mishpat you can ask in monetary law. You can ask for the why did you paskin like this? And when it comes to other halachas, I think the judge doesn't necessarily have to tell you. Doesn't have to say why. So like in laws of interest or something, which is in Yeridea, I think he doesn't have to say. Yeah, Ribis is not a Chesed Mishpat. Hayavama hayleches achar hayavam lehatira, and also the Yavama has to go. The woman has to go to the man to do chalitza or to do yibam. The man doesn't have to go to the woman. Adkama, how far does she have to go? Amar Rabami, I feel mitzvah letzipayri. You go even from Tveria to Tzipayri. I don't know if that's far.
So I know women who had to go
Depends
from
if you
Svat
go by donkey
to Dallas.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking a couple days.
Because she had to go
Pony
to him.
Express.
She had to go to the brother.
Amar Rav Kana. Rav Kana says, Mikra, what's the source for this? And the members, the elders of his city called to him, not the members, the elders of her city. Okay. Amar Ameimar says, Ameimar says no. The halacha is you force him to go to the big court. Ravashi, Amar Alei Ravashi La Ameimar. Ravashi says, Amar Abelazar kaifnei say v'dan be'irei. You stay in the city. The Gemara explains, that's when the loiv, the borrower is telling the malva that I want to go to the big court outside. Do you want to judge me? You want to get your money? We're going somewhere else. So aval malva, but if the malva wants to go there, then eved leivelish malva. Then you have to follow whatever the lender is. The borrower is subjugated to whatever the lender wants. Sholchulei l'mar ukva. They sent to Mar Ukva the following statement. I guess it means from Eretz Yisrael, right? They sent from they sent from Eretz Yisrael to Mar Ukva was in Babel. L'deziv lei, the one that shines, kibar bisya, like the son of Bisya. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu is called in Divrei Yom. It's called Bisya's son. Remember we had that Gemara before. Shalom means peace unto you. Ukvana Bavli, Kabal Kadmana, Yermi Achi Herbalaya Sedera. Ukvana Bavli is complaining to us that his brother Yermia was passed over him the road. Now, Rashi says there's two possibilities here. Either he's complaining that he'd lost my money. Oh no.
No. Seriously.
One is that Sisir that he castrated him. Ibid mi many derech b'nei adam. He took away the way of man from me. Or he's saying that he he didn't. Yeah, he did something about something incorrect with money. They said to him, or Amrulai, Hasiyu v'yira p'neinu b'Tveria. He has to come to Tveria to get judged. So Agufa Kasha, Amrit Amrulai. They said, say to him, or they said to him, Alma Dainuatun. You should say to him, that means that you should judge. That means that we should judge the case. Alachi Kamri. Rather, what they meant to say was like this: Amrulay Dainu Atun. You should judge. Itzayas tzayas. If he listens, then good. Vilai, but if he doesn't listen, then hisiu v'yer panena b'tzveria. Taisvus over here says, if he doesn't listen because he doesn't want to be judged by you, then you could send him here. Send him here. Ravashi Amar dini knasus have it. That case was dini knasus. But Bavel lay dainu dini knasus. And in Bavel, you can't judge the dini knasus. So they want to send him to Eretz Yisrael. But the shalchalei hachi, and so why they say you judge him? Because they lachly cover the Marukva. They wanted to make him to give him honor. Marukva was the Reish Galusa. Cover the Marukva. He was the judge of the Reish Galusa. Hadran Allah Zabair. Okay. Everyone. 2 pages behind. We're supposed to be on Lamed Gimel. What was today's page?
Lamed Gimel.
Today was Lamed Gimel? Oh, so
Yeah,
one
today's
page behind.
2 pages.
We finished Lamed Beis now.
No, we're starting.
Oh, you're right. We are 2 pages behind. what are we gonna do?
I don't know, Rabbi.
I remember we were once 5 feet.
We
I'm not
should
worried
take the
about it.
finance people.
True.
No, those are probably Yomi.
Without the time.
Unless you want to do,
We'll try to do,
No questions for the next 2 days and let the rabbi.
we'll try to do a page and a half over this week. So we'll try to, that should help us. Try.
yeah.
Okay. Have a good week.